What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Christian Hanna here today. We're talking about some 90s gems. We're talking about, from Vinegar Syndrome, TICKS. Now, TICKS is the 90s personified. Right off the bat, even though this doesn't say 4K plus Blu-ray or whatever, just know that it's a 2-discer, and there's a Blu-ray in there in case you ain't got the 4K. We're going to talk a little bit about TICKS because this is a movie I think a lot of viewers can be the first-time watch for them. So I'm not going to spoil too much about TICKS, and then we'll talk about this release from Vinegar Syndrome, and we'll get into it. So let's just, a few words about TICKS, okay? This movie, you look at the cover art, expect this, okay? Expect this vibe from the movie. The beautiful Amy Dolenz is on the front of it, too. You can never go wrong with her. She's lovely. So expect this kind of vibe in the movie. TICKS is early 90s greatness. So the story of TICKS, I'll set it up. You know, the movie opens up with Seth Green with the most 90s haircut ever. I'm talking, he's kind of got a little bit long in the front. It's cleaned up right by the ears and a little bit in the back. Not really a mullet, but kind of like that weird 90s shag, but clean look at the same time. Like it satisfies the kids and both the parents kind of haircut. And his dad drops him off at like under a seedy looking bridge. Like this bridge is completely covered in graffiti. It looks like it's like there's like drug deals that go down. Like it's so weird. And the funny thing is you hear him say, "I'm doing this to better you." So it had been a long time since I'd seen TICKS. I watched it on YouTube because this movie's been hard to get on physical media for a long time. And I didn't remember that. So I was like, what the hell's going on? Out of nowhere. Are you ready for this? Alfonso Ribeiro, who you probably know as Carlton Banks, shows up in this movie. And in some weird, almost what would feel like a parallel universe, he's playing like a street thug. It feels so weird. It's hilarious because it's so hard to take it seriously, but this is a far cry from the Carlton that we know. So that is funny. I mean, seeing Carlton Banks playing a thug or like a street guy in this movie is a highlight for sure. It's so funny seeing, but he's great. He gets the movie he's doing. That's great. So we get the rest of the pack together under the bridge, and they all head towards this camp to better themselves, that kind of thing. You go to this summer camp. Well, we've set up some story about how there's this marijuana going on, and they're using some kind of steroid-type agent to swell up all the marijuana and make big profits. Well, this is the woods. There are TICKS. We're going to make some big TICKS. And that is basically the premise for TICKS. Now, TICKS, as I said, is 90s personified. I'm actually not too surprised. I never heard about this movie growing up because, look, from what I understand, like, when it comes to the early 90s, especially the video rental era, like, Full Moon dominated. So, TICKS was a movie that was never on my radar until years later as I got into horror big time. And by the time I heard about this movie, the Olive Films Blu-ray for this came and went like that, and that's been like a really expensive Blu-ray for a long time. So I'm so glad that Vinegar Syndrome got their hands on this. TICKS is a movie that's very well aware of what it is. The actors they play the performances great, and here's the last bit of bonus for you. Clint Howard stars in this movie, and he delivers. I mean, look, he's actually on the cover of this disc of this disc. I'm infested. Oh, it's funny. It's so funny. Great practical effects in here. And yes, there is big, nasty TICKS. Nasty, big ones. All practical. You'll love it. There's a lot of fire. There's a lot of blood and guts. And it's a fun time. It's a genuinely fun movie to watch. I think you'll really enjoy TICKS. So a little bit about this Vinegar Syndrome release. If you order this from their website, you can certainly still get it with the slipcover. But I really appreciate that they can give you the option to save a few bucks and not buy it with the slipcover if you want. So I just went ahead and got it without the slipcover because as nice as they are, I don't always like to get the slipcovers with everything. Like, when I got the Scanner Cops, I love those movies, so like they came in like a hard box, and I was like, oh, I really want that. But not everything I need a slipcover for, so I just saved a few bucks and got TICKS without the case. But as far as this release goes, so it's important to know that this is a 4K release, that there is a Blu-ray on disc too, so in case you're not a 4K person. The release itself, the way it looks, the picture quality, it's really good, but it's not like the star-studded level of what 4K is, and I think that's because it says on the back of here, I was looking for some information, they got it from the Inner Positive, which is not the original film element. It's very close, but it's not the original film element, so I think that could have been just a tad bit of a barrier to get to that breakthrough look of how the film was. But one thing I noticed was I watched the movie on the 4K, obviously, and it looks really good. Really good. Don't get me wrong. But like if you watch this and then see The Shining, you'll see like what the pro-level 4K image quality can truly be. But I put on the Blu-ray after this because the special features are on the Blu-ray disc, which is basically this amazing documentary and commentaries, and I'll go over the details of that in a second. But the 4K whoops the Blu-ray because on the Blu-ray, all the colors look so muted. The picture's good on the Blu-ray version, but the colors are like so much more muted than on the 4K. The 4K looks so much more vibrant and beautiful, and everybody's clothes, like the colors are more poppier, and it just pops, that kind of stuff. So the Blu-ray looks fine, but like if you watch it, you might actually have to go into the settings of your TV and kind of boost everything because it kind of mutes, the colors are muted, and it may just be compared to, but just know that the Blu-ray, it looks good, but the colors really pop on the 4K, so that was awesome. As far as the special features, it's a 2-discer, like I said, so on the 4K disc, you'll get the movie, and that's the artwork on the release, but I flipped it to the beautiful Amy Dolan's. And on this is the Blu-ray, you get the movie, and then you get this really great documentary, Making of. They got a lot of the cast members. There's no Alfonso Ribeiro that I can recall, so that was a shame. But you got Under the Skin, the Making of, an extended 3-part Making of with Tony Randall, Rosalind Allen, Doug Beswick, Amy Dolan's, Brent Friedman, Leslie Rosenthal, Christopher Stone, and Brian Usna. Brian Usna was the executive producer, and if you know Brian Usna, Bride of Reanimator, Beyond Reanimator, Society, Return of the Living Dead 3. Brian Usna's a legend in the business. So this is a perfect movie that he produced, I think. Great stuff. So I dig it. I loved TICKS. It's fun. It's a great release. And there's also audio commentaries with Clint Howard, moderated by Nathaniel Thompson. Commentary track with Doug Beswick and stop-motion animator Yancey Calzada. Moderated by filmmakers Joe Bigos. So Clint Howard is on a commentary track. I listened to a little bit of that. Clint's a lovely person. He's got such a great personality. TICKS is great, guys. You'll really have fun with it if you're into that, special effects 90s era of horror. This is like the rental era of horror. Right up there, guys. It's classic. I can't get enough of TICKS. Great movie. Certainly a high rewatch value. Again, seeing Alfonso Ribeiro playing kind of like a street thug is like the most bizarre thing I've ever seen in my life, and I can't get enough of it. So TICKS, guys. Amy Dolan's, Seth Green, and Alfonso Ribeiro. How many movies are you going to know that have those 3 people in it? Not that too often. So great movie. You'll love it. Check out TICKS from Vinegar Syndrome. I would recommend going on their website and getting it. You can still get it with the slipcover, and you can get it without the slipcover. Up to you. I give it a 4 out of 5 for what it is. It's great. TICKS. So thank you guys for watching this video. If you've seen TICKS, please let me know your thoughts on TICKS in the comments section below. And if you want to pick it up, let me know as well. My name's Christian Horror. You can call me CHH. Thank you for watching this video, and we'll see you next time. TICKS.